Hey there, chatters. I'm Nat.
And I'm Kat, and welcome to the Crime Chat. I'm your forensic femme fatale. Natalie is your true crime addict connoisseur.
We're just two normal girls obsessed with dark crimes, evil minds, and occasionally the unknown.
And here's your disclaimer, chatters. The following Crime Chat contains adult content, and we'll have some very creepy Cold War scenarios today. So your listener discretion is advised.
You've been warned, and before we get into today's Crime Chat, Kat, what shenanigans have you been up to? You've done a lot.
I've done a lot. I've been around the world. Not around the world, but I've been places. I've done things. Still living.
Did you go to New York?
No, that's coming up this weekend.
Okay.
So the next time I'll be in New York City.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you know where you're staying?
Let's see how that goes. So we're staying at the base in Brooklyn.
Okay.
The Army base in Brooklyn is where we're going to be working and staying out. So I do have a girlfriend that lives in Massachusetts, and she's originally from Brooklyn. Mm-hmm. I've known her for, oh God. I was thinking about this the other day. We've been friends for like almost 20 years now. We've worked together, and we're stationed together on a couple different occasions. We've deployed together. Mm-hmm. So my sister from another mister. Yeah. So we're going to get together. I said, hey, I'm going to be up that way. I know you go to Brooklyn a lot. Do you think we, in this time span that we'd be able to catch up? Because it's probably been several years since I've seen her. And she's like, oh my God, yes. So that'll be good.
That's awesome. You're going to enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, yep. We'll see.
All right, cool.
We'll see how it goes. So I'm still somewhat sane. Mm-hmm. I've been having my mental outlet catching up on the series of things. So got The Pit. Oh my God, so good.
Yeah.
Finished season 2 of Hijacked. Mm-hmm. And the comedy Ghosts I was telling you about before. They've kind of released some newer episodes. It's just, that show is like a break from the mental strain and tension while still having death involved. That's about it. I'm in my last week of my last core class. My next 2 semesters are finishing the thesis and final capstone, and I'll be done with that. So what about you?
So we just celebrated Easter. Yeah. Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.
So it's been a whirlwind. We had some last minute guests who decided to come for the holiday because they found out last minute that their daughter was not going to come back from college. She was going to hang out with friends. So they were alone. They were like, oh no, we'll come spend Easter with you. These aren't my friends. These are my husband's friends. So I'm like, okay, no problem. Well, once that happens at the golf course, apparently a lot of people were spending Easter by themselves. So 2 other people from the golf club decided to come to the house. Yeah. That's in addition to my 9 guests that were coming already.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So, that's a house full.
Yeah. So it was a house full. And then in the middle of it, father's car breaks down on Friday. So then I had to give him my car to use until he got his car fixed. Mm-hmm. And I got to drive my husband's pickup truck. Yeah. That red fire engine pickup truck. Yeah. And I'm not good at that thing. That thing does not have a backup camera. Okay. I realize at this point, I am so spoiled for my car to have all these little bells and whistles.
Yeah. You get used to it.
But I was stuck hosting the wives. Oh. The whole time.
They were all at the golf course, weren't they?
No, they don't golf. So they were they were at the house. Yeah. And I was working too on top of that. So and when somebody's over and you're working, you really can't mentally disconnect. Yeah. Because you're always like, okay, what do you need?
What do you need?
Do you want it?
Yeah.
I need some I'm a hostess. Yeah. In my heart.
You
so
are.
I try to host everybody to make them happy and all that stuff. And at one point, I didn't even shop for Easter yet, but I was shopping at Publix at 8 at night when everybody was relaxing with their drinks. Yes. Yeah. And I had to go out because I had to get Easter done still. Yeah. And nobody was technically helping. I don't hope they don't listen to this. No one was technically helping me. So wow. That was it was a full from Thursday to yesterday. It was full. Yeah. It was full. But other than that.
How's your game coming along? Are you still stuck?
Oh yeah, I moved on. Like I have totally moved on. I'm not going to stress. I started another game. I'll pick that up again when I feel that I could have the mental space for it.
Yeah.
But I picked up another game that was just released. God, games are getting super expensive. So I just bought a game, $100 for the game. And the PlayStation 5, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what Sony is doing, but they've increased the price to the PlayStation 5. So the one that I own, I think I paid like $500 for it.
Yeah.
$480, $500. The price has increased to $900.
Holy crap.
For the system that I have. And I'm like, why would they increase an already...
Times are hard.
What the hell?
We're struggling over here.
So then he's like, maybe we should sell it. I'm like, no.
Wow. That's a big jump. I didn't realize games were that I mean, I guess I kind of did realize games were that expensive, but at the same time I didn't.
I feel bad for people like that don't have the extra $1,000 to spend on something like that. I'm like, that's I don't know. Anyway, so that's basically it. So,
well, we were talking about Atari and like Nintendo, and what was the one that you said? The Imagine
television.
Yeah. I mean, granted, that was 30 plus years ago, 40 years ago, but like
they were expensive back then.
They were expensive then. Yeah. I wonder if it would be equivalent to.
I don't think so. I think this is the highest. You know what? They were always something that was going to be a dent in your paycheck, but it didn't. You didn't have to you didn't have to blow your whole paycheck on it.
Yeah.
Like it was. I don't know. Like I feel like games usually a lot of people like in their 20s are buying these things for the first time. How do you rationalize spending $1,000? I mean,
save for it. Save, a chunk of it, which is probably the best thing you can do. Is like save over time. Or sell something to pay for it.
I know. I feel bad, but either way, I don't know. Yeah. So that's about it. That's what I did.
That's eventful.
So
I don't know which one's worse.
I know. Okay, so today, I don't know who you're doing your story on. You did not. I've never heard of this person before.
Yeah.
But you asked me to do an intro on the mysterious disappearances during the Cold War, or like
during the Cold War, how Soviets made people disappear.
Yeah. So I think I got the gist of it. So this is what I came up with. I hope this is exactly what you're looking for. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, I know we're diving back into Spy World and Cold War era and all that stuff. Yeah.
You love that.
I had a lot of fun writing this story too, so I'm sure it'll be great.
Okay, cool. All right. So imagine living in a world where saying the wrong thing could make you vanish before breakfast. During the Cold War, the Soviet government didn't just arrest people. They performed the vanishing act so smoothly, it was scary.
Yeah.
They had it down to a science. Here are some of the many steps that they took. 1, extraction, which basically is quiet kidnapping. Then
great movie, too.
Oh, there is a movie. Yes. Is it about the Soviet Union? Is it Soviet? Okay.
No. But he's the extractor.
Okay. Number 2, neutralization. The process of breaking your spirit, like just making you feel like the cause is not worth what you're going to go through.
Yeah.
And then erasure, which is the final act of wiping your name from the world. And this happened a lot. I didn't realize how often this happened. So under different terms of leadership, like presidents and stuff like that. And they've moved away from the messy mass violence of the past and started using these clear ways to make people go away. So they figured, why am I going to fight you in the papers and on the streets and, in the community when I can just, come on.
Yeah.
Just walk up to your house, knock on your door at 2 a.m. and boom, you're gone. Or a car pulls beside you while you're going to work and boom, you're gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. These weren't just regular police that were grabbing you, but they were secret agents in plain clothes to ensure that 1 minute you were there and the next minute you were gone.
Yep.
Victims were dumped in hidden internal prisons located in the heart of major cities, designed for total isolation with no lawyers, no phone calls, and no contact with the outside world. This created a state of ghosting. Oh, we have it's kind of ghosting today, right? But not
I was
physical.
Say
this is
we updated the term.
Yeah, this is like physical ghosting.
Yeah.
So if families went to authorities to find out where their loved ones went to, officers would shrug and say, well, the person probably just moved away, or they went on an announced trip, or, whatever.
Yeah,
They didn't take it seriously. And this happened to everyone regardless of social status. It didn't matter if you were rich or poor. If you had a number or a bullseye on your back, you were gone. Mm-hmm. So the government, of course, always denied their any involvement in any of these disappearances.
You know what I'm picturing right now as you're describing this? Mm-hmm. Hopper, when he disappeared and they thought he was incinerated. That's right. And he disappeared to the Soviet prison. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm picturing.
And that's another thing that they did. That's what I was just going to mention. Like, they also put you in prison. Like I said, the government didn't want drama or the public trial or, what they would do is they would label you insane. Like, they would come out with these just smear campaigns, this propaganda, the propaganda machine. And they always use fake medical terms to claim that anybody who didn't like the government was actually suffering from some type of mental illness.
Something must be wrong with you. You don't like us.
Yeah, it would effectively silence them. Yeah. So now, once the state labeled a person crazy, nobody had to take their ideas seriously after that.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we're sent to a special psychiatric hospital to be kept on heavy drugs. And this was another way of the way they disappeared people.
Yeah.
While technically you're still alive, but turning a sharp political mind into a sedated patient drooling. They kept you alive just in case. But they kind of kept you, at the hospital, or they would even keep you in the prisons in a unmarked cell. It's insane.
Yeah.
For the others, the government maintained a massive system of remote work camps in freezing, isolated regions. If somebody died in custody, the state rarely told the truth, instead issuing a standard notice saying that the person was sentenced to 10 years without the right of correspondence. Now, families would wait the 10 years and send letters, never realizing that their loved one was dead a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when somebody was considered a real threat to the system, the state would end their life in total secrecy to ensure that they didn't become a hero or symbol for others.
Yeah.
These shadow executions happened in prisons, basements, or in the middle of the woods, with victims buried in unmarked pits, sometimes covered with trash to hide the site. Mm-hmm. And by hiding the body and falsifying death records, often citing heart failure, the state assured that the person's story ended exactly where the government wanted it to.
Yes.
So in the end, it wasn't just about killing. It was about making it seem like the person never existed in the first place. Mm-hmm. This is what international law now calls enforced disappearance, the act of placing a human being completely outside of the protection of law. Turns out you can literally Control-Alt-Delete a human being, Kat. As the Cold War fizzled out, the Soviet government realized their failing system had a major glitch. The people they tried to turn into ghosts ended up being the ones who haunted the system until it collapsed. Because people didn't forget.
Yes.
There was always somebody,
Yeah.
And then the stories, people started getting more familiar with what was going on and more comfortable with kind of saying what was going on. And yeah, one thing led to another.
It comes out somehow. It always does.
Families basically became the ultimate private investigators, digging through secret files and turning hush-hush, unmarked pits into memorials. Mm-hmm. Today, we have international human rights laws acting like a giant spotlight on those tactics, making sure governments can't play hide-and-seek with its citizens anymore.
Yeah.
The Soviet Union tried its hardest to treat history like a whiteboard that they could just wipe off anybody's name.
Yeah.
But they learned the hard way that the truth is a lot more like Lady Macbeth saying, out, out, damn spot, because that shit does not leave, even mentally. Some things stay and echo. In the end, burying the truth turned to be way more work than just, not kidnapping people, but nice try, bitch. So That's my intro on the shady disappearances that potentially happened during the Cold War.
Perfect. Because I've got a story for you today, Nat, that feels less like a straight up crime and more like a Cold War fever dream with a side of existential crisis.
Ooh, okay.
So today we're going to talk about a man who had everything: status, intellect, connections, and still managed to end up dead on a Manhattan sidewalk under circumstances that are, let's say, aggressively suspicious.
Okay.
So picture this.
Yeah.
Sicily, 1945. Just kidding. Picture this. 5 days before Christmas, 1948. New York City. It's doing its classic Christmas thing. Department store windows are glowing. People are bundled up in wool coats. Everyone's pretending to enjoy fruitcake.
Yeah.
And up on the 16th floor of an office building, Laurence Duggan is working late. And when I say late, I mean this is not a man casually wrapping things up before heading home to trim the tree, because by 7 p.m., Laurence Duggan is no longer in his office. He is lying on the sidewalk below, missing one shoe, dead.
Oh, the shoe. Where's the shoe? Did it fly off? Oh.
So right now, this kind of splits up into three different things. The police say it was an accident. The FBI says espionage. And the Soviets? Well, they say nothing, because historically it's not comforting. So the question becomes, how does a man who looks like he walked straight out of a Harvard brochure end up at the center of one of the Cold War's strangest deaths? To answer that, we're going to rewind. This is the rise and the very abrupt fall of Laurence Duggan. Dun, dun, dun. Laurence Hayden Duggan. He was born May 28th, 1905 in New York City. And from the moment he enters the world, it's basically clear that this guy is not starting in like a hard mode. He's got things pretty good. Okay. His father, Stephen Duggan, is a professor of political science at the City College of New York, and later co-funds the Institute of International Education, the IIE, in 1919. Have you ever heard of that? So it's a nonprofit that focuses on international student exchange and aid foreign affairs and international peace and security.
That's super vague.
Yeah, but it's exchange. It's
exchange in what?
Well, it's a student exchange. So foreigners come over to the United States. Americans go over to foreign universities, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So Lawrence's mother, Sarah, she was a director of the Negro Welfare League of White Plains, New York, and deeply involved in social work.
Okay, cool.
So yes, this is a household where dinner conversations probably included the phrases like geopolitical strategy and international diplomacy, all before dessert. And Laurence grows up in this blend of intellect, public service, and influence. In other words, he's being groomed for importance. He was born into what's called the establishment, or the good old boys club. He received an early education at the Roger Ascham School in Hartsdale, New York, and then the White Plains Community Church, where he learned simplicity, courtesy, and democracy. Then the Phillips Exeter Academy, graduates cum laude in 1923, and then moves on to Harvard. Also graduates, not just academically, socially, culturally, aesthetically. He doesn't just attend Harvard, he absorbs it. The vibe, the aesthetic, the attitude. And his family and social standing made it seem like Harvard was practically built around him. So if there were a catalog for Ideal American Diplomat 1930 edition, Laurence would be on the cover. Just to kind of give you that vibe. Wearing a sweater vest, of course, and holding a pipe that he doesn't actually smoke. So he starts his career after leaving Harvard in publishing. But very quickly, he pivots to something more influential. His father helped to establish the Latin America Bureau at the IIE, that nonprofit. And Laurence dives in, learning Spanish, Portuguese, traveling. And this is where things kind of start to matter, because it isn't just resume building that he's doing here. It's geopolitical positioning, essentially. With this status, and given the time frame of the 1930s, Laurence basically had a golden ticket to get into the State Department. And that's exactly what he did in 1930. Okay. And listen, this is an era where diplomacy is still loosely defined, and qualifications include being well-connected, speaking a few languages, and apparently owning some formal wear. And Laurence checked all those boxes. Yeah. And they're like, yep, you're in, buddy boy. So over the next decade, he climbs fast. He becomes head of the Latin American division, then an advisor on political relations, And he's deeply involved in shaping what becomes known as the Good Neighbor Policy, which in theory is about improving relations between the U.S. and Latin America, but in practice, apparently it's like really, really complicated. But the point is, Laurence is in the room where decisions happen. And he's smart, he's efficient, and maybe most importantly, he's idealistic. And then this is where timing becomes everything, because in the 1930s, a weird ideological moment, fascism on the rise in Europe, capitalism wobbling from the Great Depression, and for a certain type of educated, progressive thinker, the Soviet Union doesn't look terrifying yet. It looks experimental. Let's see what we can do with them. Let's be friends. And like a social experiment that hasn't failed enough publicly, you've got these Ivy League intellectuals thinking, maybe there's something there. Maybe it's not all bad. Maybe we're the problem. Am I the drama? And that curiosity, that openness, that idealism, that's exactly what Soviet intelligence agencies were looking for.
Oh, boy.
So let's get into the controversial part. Now, was Laurence Duggan a spy? According to later evidence, yes. But in his lifetime, it's a little fuzzy.
Okay.
The biggest piece of evidence that comes from something called the Venona Project. I think we've talked about the Venona Project before.
Sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah. So it's, if we're being honest, basically this is like a rejected Marvel villain, but it was actually a top secret U.S. burn book that had decrypted Soviet messages on it.
Oh. Okay.
And in those decrypted messages, there was a code name, 19th.
Okay.
Now, I'm sorry. That's the least intimidating code name I have ever heard. That's not a spy. That's a bus line. No.
Yeah.
I'm taking the 19th line. But 19th was believed to be Laurence Duggan. They also indicate Laurence was recruited as a Soviet spy around 1934.
Oh.
And according to these messages, he was part of a network known as the Silver Master Group, a ring of high-level moles passing information to the Soviets.
Oh.
But not like in trench coats, dark alleys, dramatic music playing in the background, more like lunch meetings, academic conversations, casual document sharing. Like, oh, hey, here's a sensitive memo on the Argentinian trade. Just bring it back to me by Monday. I need it for the bake sale. You know, like real casual. It's espionage, but it's like polite espionage.
Yeah.
And one name that pops up in connection with Laurence is Hedy Massing, a known Soviet agent who operated under the cover of intellectual and social circles. So if this is true, if Laurence was involved, then he wasn't some master spy. He was actually something a little bit more dangerous, a well-placed insider who didn't fully grasp the consequences of what he was actually doing. Which is crazy, as smart and as intellectual as he was. And he didn't need the money. A lot of times, you know, people do it for the money. Like we talked about, Robert Hansen did it for the money. Alder James did it for the money. You know, he didn't need the money. Didn't need the status. He did, you know, it's like, why? But anyway, by the 1940s, things change fast. And I think he kind of came to some realization, what am I doing? Because he tries to quit.
Okay.
And the illusion of Soviet Union starts to crack globally, like the U.S.'s perception of it, right? So reports of purges, labor camps, authoritarian control, and then suddenly being sympathetic to communism is no longer a philosophical position, it's a liability.
Absolutely. Yeah. Wow.
So Laurence leaves the State Department in 1944, and he thinks he's out. He doesn't have access to it anymore. He thinks he's safe. But that's the thing about international espionage is that there's no like unsubscribe button at the bottom.
Once you're in, right?
Exactly. And this is important because it suggests awareness.
Yeah.
And maybe even fear on Laurence's part. So he transitions into academia. He tries to build a quieter life, something removed from the pressure and the scrutiny of government work. But that's the thing about espionage. You don't just leave. There's not like an exit interview.
Yeah.
No, you know, thanks for your service. Good luck to you.
Right.
And then we get the twist of the December 1948, which is where we started the story. The Cold War is heating up. And in the United States, so is paranoia. The House Un-American Activities Committee, the HUAC. I don't know if that's actually a thing. I just thought it was funny because that, you know, that real, that tool. The HUAC. Okay, they're aggressively investigating suspected communists, and they've just scored a major win with the case of Alger Hiss. Now they want more. Only 10 days before he died, Laurence becomes a target, and the FBI questioned him for hours repeatedly. Then a journalist and informant, Isaac Don Levine, he testifies in a secret congressional hearing that Laurence Duggan is essentially a Soviet asset.
Wow.
And suddenly everything closes in. Reputation, his career, his family, his freedom, everything is on the line. So on December 20th, 1948, Laurence is in his office. He says, "Hey, secretary, I'm going to stay late." At some point, he opens the window and then thud. Now, when authorities arrive, the scene is pretty strange. Not violent or chaotic, it's just off. You kind of get that feeling sometimes when you get to a scene, you're like, something weird is going on here.
Yeah.
There's a shoe on the floor, an overcoat that was neatly placed, the window was open, and then below was his body. So what happened? Let's get into some theories.
Okay.
The first one, the whoopsie theory. The official police report said he was trying to open a stuck window. He slipped and fell. Because apparently in 1948, gravity was 50% more aggressive if you were under a federal investigation.
Yeah.
And I mean, an accident is possible, right?
Yeah.
But it also requires us to believe that a highly educated, coordinated adult man lost a fight with a window so badly that it launched him 16 stories down. So take that as you will. Number 2. The defenestration theory, and yes, that is a real word, and yes, the Soviets were known for it. The idea is that Laurence was becoming a liability, under the pressure, possibly about ready to talk and break, so he was removed, as you talked about earlier. Quick, deniable. So did the Soviets push him because he was about to crack under FBI pressure? Possibly. And the last theory is the desperation theory. This is the one that many historians consider most likely because Laurence knows that he was being investigated. He knows the walls are closing in on him and what a public trial would do to his family. So he took his own life to protect his family from the shame.
Okay.
But even here, there's still questions. Why the damn shoe, Laurence? Why leave your damn shoe behind?
Yeah.
The coat, the lack of a note. It's not clean. It's not clear. It's just like unfinished.
He was pushed, I think.
So after his death, the reaction is immediate and divided. Some people defended him very strongly. One being Miss Eleanor Roosevelt.
Oh, okay.
She publicly criticized the accusations against him, calling them cruel and unfounded. Journalist Edward R. Murrow also speaks in his defense, and at the time, many saw Laurence as a victim of political hysteria and the casualty of the Red Scare. But decades later, things shift. Declassified Soviet archives, the further analysis of video intercepts, and the conclusion becomes harder to avoid that Laurence probably was a source for the Soviets.
Yeah.
Not a cartoon villain, not a mastermind, but a man caught between belief, ambition, and reality. And I think he got kind of stuck somewhere in the middle. So where does that leave us? Laurence Duggan is not an easy story because he doesn't really fit into a specific category. He's not purely a victim, but not purely a villain.
Right.
He's something a little bit more uncomfortable. That a reminder that intelligent, well-meaning people can make very bad decisions. Especially when they believe they're doing something right.
Yeah.
And sometimes those consequences don't come immediately. They build, they go quietly, and then one day you're standing at a window, and the next day there's nowhere left to go. So chatters, what have we learned today? 1, espionage is significantly less glamorous than the movies that most would believe, mostly.
Yeah.
2, if you're going to be a spy, maybe stick to the first floor. And then 3, if a window won't open, just call maintenance. Seriously, it's not worth it. And that's your story.
That's a great story.
The rise and fall of Laurence Duggan.
Literally. Oh my God. That was good. Okay. Yeah, I've never heard of that before.
I don't remember where I came across it. But when we were planning for the season, that was in the back of my mind, like one of his story was in the back of my mind. So I was like, kind of threw it on the schedule and I was like, I forgot what this one was about. And I started reading it and I was like, oh man.
But I totally think he was murdered.
Yeah.
Honestly, the connection with the communists is alarming, especially if Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yeah.
She's got a great name. She's the wife of a president. But sometimes you got to sit this one out, girl. Like, I don't think you should be have any opinion. I mean, now because the more we find out that there could have been a connection. I don't know.
Yeah, and obviously at the time it was before the Soviet files were declassified and the Verona Project and all that stuff, right? So before all of that came out, you relied on other human sources to get that information, or other human sources to obtain documentation where they could find where those moles were.
What's confusing is that I'm assuming that he sounds educated, so I'm assuming he understood what was going on over there and how they were treating their people, and what kind of...
Yeah, that kind of came to light after, where at first he was thinking opportunity, let's build a relationship. Like, he is grounded in international relations. That's kind of what, exchanging information. I think it turned into something that he was like, oh,
I see. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Maybe I need to just lose my access to the State Department, which is why he left.
Yeah.
And that way he wouldn't be used anymore. But you can't just quit. You can't just quit, especially a Soviet intelligence.
Scary.
Asset.
That shit. Communism scares me. Oh, my Lord. Ugh. All right. Well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. That was a good story.
Another spy story.
Yes. You love your spy stories.
I do.
All right.
Because it's so dark and mysterious, and it's just like,
yeah,
there's more to the story.
Yeah.
There's always more to the story.
True. Well, we wouldn't dream of leaving you hanging. For more chilling details, twists in the case, and many others, check out After That Crime Chat, available exclusively on our Patreon.
And don't forget to follow us on our socials, CrimeChat Nat Kat on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, X, and Rumble. See what we got going on.
Want more chilling content and behind-the-scenes chaos? Become a VIP chatter to our Patreon. You'll unlock bonus episodes, bloopers, exclusive sneak peek, and even free merch. And yes, we got some criminal goodies in the works, so support the show, fuel your obsession with the weird and the wicked, and join the CrimeChat chatter crew in style.
Be sure to check out our next episode. We got Natalie coming up with her next story. Do you know what you're going to do yet?
I do.
Oh, woohoo!
I do. It's going to be about a granny. Another granny story to go in our library of the macabre. Yeah. Yes. So either way, you don't want to miss it.
And we'll see you at the next CrimeChat.
Bye.